Hi viewers, welcome to my channel. This is Sridhar Reddy Elpeddi, Assistant Professor of Physics from Government Degree College for Women, Nalgonda. Welcome to my channel, Sri Quantum Academy. Feel the physics at glance. Today, I am going to discuss with you topic extrinsic semiconductor, its properties and biasing. From my previous video, you have a clear idea about what is intrinsic semiconductor and what are the properties of it and how to bias it in a circuit. Now I am going to explain you what is extrinsic semiconductor and what are the types and its properties and how to bias it in a circuit. Before going to watch my video, please subscribe my channel if you not yet done. Press bell icon to get latest updates. First, what is semiconductor? Semiconductor means it is a material for which electrical conductivity lies between insulators and conductors. That means semiconductors are the materials whose conductivity is greater than the insulators and less than the conductors. Popular examples for semiconductors are silicon and germanium. These two are group 4 elements. That means their valency shell contains 4 electrons. Semiconductors are two types. One is intrinsic semiconductors and other one is extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors means pure semiconductors are called intrinsic semiconductors. That means an extremely pure form of a semiconductor without any impurities is called intrinsic or pure semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductors means they are also called impure semiconductors. That means they are added with impurities. That means intrinsic or pure semiconductor doped with impurities like group 3 and group 5 elements. So extrinsic semiconductors means they are intrinsic semiconductors with adding impurities. The process of adding impurities to the pure material is called doping. So depending on the doping, that means depending on the type of impurity you are adding, again extrinsic semiconductors are two types. You have to add impurity atom, that means extra atom. Now depending on that extra adding atom, that means which type of atom you are adding, which type of impurity you are adding, depending on that impurity, extrinsic semiconductors again divided into two types. One is p-type extrinsic semiconductor and another one is n-type extrinsic semiconductor. P-type extrinsic semiconductor. P-type means when pure or intrinsic semiconductor is doped with group 3 impurity atoms. That type of extrinsic are called p-type semiconductors. That means take a pure semiconductor and add with group 3 elements. Group 3 elements means boron, aluminium, gallium, etc. So if you dope pure semiconductor with group 3 impurity atom, then it's said to be p-type semiconductor. Now come to the n-type semiconductor. That means if I add group 5 impurity atoms to the pure semiconductor, then it is said to be n-type semiconductor. That means take a pure semiconductor and add with group 5 elements. Group 5 elements are nothing but nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, etc. That means n-type semiconductor means pure semiconductor is doped with group 5 impurity atom. So extrinsic semiconductor means an intrinsic semiconductor doped with impurity atoms like group 3 and group 5 elements during the crystal growth are called extrinsic semiconductors. Generally impurity atoms are like group 3 and group 5 elements. General impurities added to the pure semiconductors are group 3 and group 5 elements. Group 3 elements are boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, etc. They are also called trivalent impurities. Next, group 5 impurity atoms like nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, etc. These elements are called pentavalent elements. Pentavalent elements means their valency shell contains 5 electrons. So depending on the trivalent or pentavalent, which impurity you are adding, based on that again extrinsic are divided into p-type semiconductor, n-type semiconductor. When pure semiconductor doped with pentavalent impurities like arsenic, antimony are said to be n-type semiconductor. When pentavalent impurity is added to the pure semiconductor, that impurity atom donates one excess electron to the crystal. So that pentavalent impurity add one extra electron. That's why these impurities also called donor atoms, because they are donating one excess electron. When pure semiconductor doped with trivalent impurities like gallium, then this type of materials are said to be p-type semiconductors. In p-type semiconductors, this trivalent impurity creates one extra hole. So it is creating one hole, that means it is ready to accept one electron. So these type of trivalent impurities also called acceptor atoms. Let us discuss detail about these p-type and n-type semiconductors. Now n-type semiconductor. N-type semiconductor means pure semiconductor doped with pentavalent impurity. That means group 5 impurity atoms like nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, etc. So definition for n-type semiconductor is intrinsic semiconductor doped with small amount of impurity atoms like group 5 elements during the crystal growth are called n-type semiconductors. When pentavalent impurity added to the pure semiconductor, each impurity atom contribute one excess electron to the conduction band, so that they are called donor atoms, because when one impurity atom is added to the semiconductor material, each impurity atom creates one extra electron. Now one electron is created, that means one electron is ready to donate. So these type of impurities are called donor impurities. So each impurity adding one extra electron. How many impurity atoms are added? That many electrons are excess. So in n-type semiconductor, electrons are more in number. That's why electrons are called majority charged carriers in n-type. Holes are minority charged carriers. Now you can see here how the extra electron is created when impurity atom is added to the pure semiconductor. Actually pure semiconductor examples are silicon and germanium. If you see here, silicon and germanium are tetravalent elements. That means their valence shell contains 4 electrons. That means each silicon or germanium is ready to form 4 covalent bonds with nearest atoms. Now each silicon is participated in covalent bonds with 4 nearest silicons. Now what I am doing? I am adding impurity atom. What type of impurity? Pentavalent impurity. Example for pentavalent impurity are arsenic, antimony, bismuth, like that. Let us suppose if I add arsenic to this semiconductor, now what happens? When arsenic is added to the pure semiconductor, now it replaces the position of silicon and it occupy that position. Now this center position silicon is replaced with this arsenic. If you see here, actually each silicon is strongly bonded with 4 nearest silicons. Now this silicon is replaced with the arsenic. Actually arsenic has 5 electrons in its valence shell, but here 4 electrons are participated in covalent bonds with nearest 4 silicon atoms, but this 5th electron which is not participated in covalent bonds, now it is free. It is just loosely bounded with the arsenic atom, because in this lattice there are only 4 covalent bonds are available, but arsenic has 5 electrons. So 4 electrons will filled with that covalent bonds. Now that extra electron is not participated in covalent bonds, is loosely bounded with the arsenic. Now if you supply very small amount of energy, now that electron will escape from the arsenic atom. If you supply small amount of energy in the order of 0.01 electron volt, then this electron leave the parent atom and it moves to the conduction band. So each impurity arsenic atom is now ready to donate 1 electron. That's why arsenic impurity is called donor impurity. Each impurity atom contributes 1 extra electron. In this way, in n-type semiconductors, more number of electrons are created. That's why electrons are majority charged carriers and holes are minority charged carriers. Now see here, when this electron is moving from arsenic atom, that means when this electron left the arsenic atom, before there is no charge, material is electrically neutral, but now this electron is moved from valence band to conduction band. That means it is leaving its parent atom. When this negative charged electron moves from arsenic, for charge neutrality, positive charge is created. Now that arsenic acquires positive charge. Here important is this is not a hole, it is loosely bounded to the arsenic atom. Now when this electron left from the arsenic atom gains positive charge, but this positive charge doesn't move because arsenic already strongly bonded with 4 covalent bonds, right? When arsenic impurity is added to the pure semiconductor, it is created one extra electron. At the same time it gains positive charge which is not moving. So in n-type semiconductor, majority charged carriers are electrons and minority charged carriers are holes, and there are immobile positive charges. So there are 3 kinds of charged particles: majority electrons, minority holes, and immobile donor ions exist in n-type semiconductors. So if you see once again, when pure silicon or germanium semiconductors doped with pentavalent impurities like arsenic, this impurity atom replaces the silicon atom in crystal lattice and occupy the position of silicon. Silicon has valency 4, so it is ready to form 4 covalent bonds with nearest silicons. When it is replaced with arsenic is pentavalent element, it has 5 electrons, but there are only 4 covalent bonds are available. So 4 electrons are participated in covalent bonds and 1 extra electron is there which is not participated in covalent bonds, and it is loosely bounded with the arsenic atom. If I supply very small amount of energy in the order of 0.01 electron volt, then it is ready to escape from the parent atom. Now one electron is escaping from the parent atom and it is moving to the conduction band. That means this electron contributes for electric current. So each impurity atom contributes 1 electron. In this way more number of electrons are generated in n-type semiconductor. That's why in n-type semiconductors electrons are majority charged carriers and holes are minority charged carriers. At the same time, when electron is removed from the arsenic atom, since material is neutral, now it gains positive charge because it is neutral. 1 minus is left from that material, obviously it should gain positive charge. So majority electrons, minority holes, at the same time immobile positive donor ions exist in the n-type semiconductors. Now the concentration of electrons in n-type semiconductors is denoted with n. N is equal to Ni plus Nd, where Ni is electron concentration in pure semiconductor. Actually initially it is pure semiconductor. In pure semiconductors there is some electrons and holes are there na, so that is Ni. Now what I am doing, I am adding donor atoms, impurity atoms. The concentration of donor atoms is Nd, so each donor atom contributing 1 electron. So total density of electrons is equal to intrinsic density plus donor impurity density. So N is equal to Ni plus Nd. But actually when compared with the donor electrons, intrinsic electrons are very less. That means the conductivity of a pure semiconductor is very less, that you know. So Ni is very less in compared with the Nd. So I can neglect Ni. Now N is equal to Ni plus Nd. That implies if I neglect Ni, then N is equal to Nd. So this is the concentration of electrons. Now the density of holes. Now come to the density of holes. The formula for density of holes is P is equal to Ni square by N. Ni is intrinsic concentration, N is extrinsic concentration. So P is equal to Ni square by N means Nd. So P is equal to Ni square by Nd. This is about n-type semiconductor and its properties. Next, band diagram of n-type. In n-type extra electrons are there because of donor atoms. So now in band diagram you will get donor energy level also. If you see here, this is the valence band which has electrons and this is the conduction band which is empty. The difference between valence band and conduction band is called band gap. Now the Fermi energy is the average energy between the valence band and conduction band. For pure semiconductor it is exactly middle. This is the Fermi level in pure state. Now what I am doing, I am adding impurity atoms. Each donor atom is contributing excess electrons with small amount of energy that electron is jumping into conduction band. That's why the donor level is near to the conduction band. So this is the donor energy level. So the electrons from this donor energy level are jumping into the conduction band. The outermost shell is now donor level because there are electrons in donor level, right? So now the Fermi level shifts from middle to the top side. That means it is shift towards the conduction band. Now the Fermi level is in between the donor energy level and conduction band. So it shifts towards the conduction band because in n-type electrons are there. Electrons contribute current in conduction band. That's why the Fermi level shifts towards the conduction band, just below the conduction band. Now next, n-type biasing. How to bias n-type semiconductor in a circuit? Biasing means connecting material in a circuit. When a n-type material is connected to the battery, then how it behaves? Let us see. This is a n-type semiconductor material in which majority charged carriers are electrons, which are shown with black color small balls, and immobile donor ions. Next, minority holes. The number of holes is very less, so need not to concentrate on the holes, but we have to show here. Just I am showing only 2 holes. Now when this semiconductor is connected to a battery, let us suppose negative terminal of the battery is connected to the left side of the semiconductor and positive terminal of the battery is connected to the right side of the semiconductor. You can see here. Now when this battery is connected to the n-type material, now the electrons from the battery moves towards the semiconductor. All the majority electrons in the semiconductor moves from A to B, as I shown with red color arrow mark. So all the electrons are repelled by the electrons from the battery. That means all the electrons repelled by the negative terminal of the battery and they moves towards the positive terminal. That means the electrons moves from left to right as shown in figure. Now the current due to this electrons is IE, and there are minority holes also there na. Now that holes are attracted by the negative terminal of the battery because holes has positive charge. So these holes moves toward the negative terminal of the battery. While they are moving, they recombine with the electrons which are coming from the negative terminal and they get neutralized. For each recombination of electron and hole pair in material, one covalent bond will break and it creates new hole and electron. That electron will reach the battery positive terminal and holes moves toward the negative terminal as same. So in this way, current due to electrons moves from left to right and current due to holes moves from right to left. Current due to electrons is IE and current due to holes is IH. So total current in n-type semiconductor is I is equal to IE plus IH, but here IH is very small, it is negligible. So total current I is equal to IH. But in external wires, only current due to electrons only, because there are no holes in external wires. Holes are there only in material, n-type material only. So current in semiconductor is I is equal to IE plus IH. But outside current is only due to electrons. Next, p-type semiconductor. P-type semiconductor means pure semiconductor doped with group 3 elements. Group 3 elements means boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, etc. So actually group 3 elements are also called trivalent impurities. That means their valency shell contains 3 electrons. So proper definition is intrinsic semiconductor doped with small amount of group 3 impurities during the crystal growth are called p-type semiconductor. When pure semiconductor doped with trivalent impurity, each impurity atom contributes one extra hole to the valence band. In this way, the number of holes increases with the impurity atoms. So the number of holes too large in case of p-type. That's why majority charged carriers are holes in p-type semiconductor and minority charged carriers are electrons. So each impurity atom is creating one hole. Actually, what is hole? Deficiency of electron. That means it is ready to accept one electron. That's why these type of impurities are called acceptor impurities. Since material is neutral, when this positive hole is moving away from the parent nucleus, then that parent nucleus gains negative charge. So acceptor atom has negative charge which is not moving. That's why it is called immobile negative ions. So in p type, majority charged holes, minority charged electrons and immobile negative acceptor ions exist. You can see here how the holes are created when impurity is added. Silicon and germanium are pure semiconductors. As you know that silicon is ready to form 4 covalent bonds. Now I am replacing this silicon with trivalent impurity, that means aluminum. Now it occupies the position of the silicon. So if you see here, when one aluminum is replaced the position of the silicon, actually before silicon is strongly bonded with 4 nearest to silicon atoms. But now after replacing aluminum, actually aluminum has only 3 electrons, but here there is need of 4 covalent bonds. Now 3 electrons fulfill the 3 covalent bonds, but one more covalent bond, there is a deficiency of electron. This deficiency of electron is called hole. So for each aluminum atom, one hole is created. This hole is ready to accept electron with very small amount of energy. It is in the range of 0.01 electron volt. For each impurity atom, one hole is created. In this way, the number of holes are large in case of p-type semiconductor. That's why they are majority charged carriers, right? Now you can see here the band diagram. This is the valence band, this is the conduction band, and this is Fermi level, pure semiconductor. Now what happened when third group impurity is added? What it is doing? It is creating excess hole. So where are the holes? They are in valence band. That's why the acceptor level, that means the impurity atom levels are nearer to the valence band because they are creating holes. That's why they are very nearer to the valence band. Now the Fermi energy level shift towards the valence band. Now it is the middle of the valence band and acceptor level. Now this is the new Fermi level. That means in case of n type, it is just near to the conduction band. In case of p type, it is just near to the valence band. This is the difference because their electrons are there. That's why it is near to the conduction band. Here holes are there. That's why it is near to the valence band. Next, how to bias p-type semiconductor in a circuit. If you see here, this is a p-type semiconductor in which majority charged holes are indicated with yellow color balls and immobile negative acceptor ions and minority charged electrons indicated with black balls. Okay, electrons are very less, that's why I have shown only 2. Okay, now when battery is connected to this p-type material, see, positive terminal of the battery is connected to the right side and negative terminal of the battery is connected to the left side of the semiconductor. Now when battery is connected, the majority charged carriers are holes in p-type. So these holes are attracted by the electrons from the negative terminal of the battery. That's why holes moves from right to left in this direction. Now the current due to holes is IH. Now this is the current due to holes which moves from right to left. Now the minority electrons which are repelled by the negative terminal of the battery, now they moves from left to right in this way. Now the current due to electrons is IE and current due to holes is IH, but here minority electrons are very less, so IE can be neglected. So total current I is equal to IH plus IE. If I neglect IE, then I is equal to IH. So total current is due to holes in semiconductor, but in outside wires current is only due to electrons. There are no holes, right? So when these holes are attracted by the negative terminal, when one electron which is coming from the negative terminal recombine with this hole, now electron and hole will get neutralized. For each recombination in p-type material, one covalent bond will break and it creates electron and hole. Now electrons moves towards the positive terminal of the battery and holes moves negative terminal of the battery. Thank you very much. Please watch, share, like, comment my videos. Thank you.